All righty. You want to call the roll, whoever who's doing that tonight.
Yes, sir. Ms. Atkinson?
Yes, here.
Mr. Ferguson? Oh. Sorry.
You almost got close to it. She was a Ferguson.
I guess we have an outdated voting sheet. So we'll start over with that, if that's okay. Ms. Atkinson?
Here.
Ms. Bowen?
Here.
Dr. Fitz? This is an old sheet.
Wow, what a way to start the year out there.
Here.
We do know what we're doing, believe it or not.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood? Ms. Price? And Chair Dowd?
Here. Unless there's any changes or corrections to the minutes, motion to accept for last month.
So move.
Motion by Ms. Atkinson, second by Danny.
Second.
Second by Danny.
Which one? Which Danny?
I'm sorry. Mumford, Mr. Mumford.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Ms. Bowen?
Yes.
Mr. Mumford?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Chair Davenport?
Yes. And approval of the 2026 meeting schedule, nothing changed, so that's on this docket. Didn't we approve that last month, I thought?
We did.
I thought we did.
We're good on that.
We're good on You want to call the roll again? Yeah, start over. All right, before we begin our hearing tonight, our counselor, Mr. Hoy Hodges, will tell you what you have to do in order to get your request approved. Mr. Hodges.
And, Mr. Chairman, on this one application, that I ask that the joint zoning ordinance be made a part of the record, the comprehensive plan, the staff report, and any attachments to that report should also be made part of the record. And we also need to swear in Amy Scott, Rachel Hurt, and Jenny Willoughby. I don't know if all three will testify tonight, but their qualifications as zoning administrators should be recognized, and their testimony will constitute expert testimony.
Do you ladies swear to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Again, the only matter tonight is a request for a variance, and the findings that the board must make are set forth in KRS 100.243. In order to prevail on your request, your application needs to provide evidence that will convince the board that the requested variance will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, that it will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, that it will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public, and that it will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. In order to prevail, you need a majority vote of those present tonight. A pass vote has no force or effect, and if you're dissatisfied with the results, you have 30 days to file an appeal, and that would go directly to Warren Circuit Court.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges.
Yes, sir.
Our first request and only request tonight, Brian and Bethany Lewis have filed an application requesting a variance of 5 feet to allow an existing garage to extend above the tallest point of the primary residence on the property located at 600 Magnolia Street. And this property is zoned RS-1A, which is single-family residential. Ms. Amy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a pre-application meeting back in October for the property that you mentioned, and that is highlighted in red. As you mentioned, the current zoning is RS-1A, and the current land use is single-family residential. And again, the applicants are requesting a variance of 5 feet to allow an existing garage to extend above the tallest point of the existing primary residence. We'll come back to their exhibit, but here are a couple of property photos for your review. This is taken from the rear of the property over on Nutwood, so you can see the backside of the structure. And then the applicants did supply a variance exhibit, and that's in your packet for review. Looking down at the zoning ordinance reference, section 445E2 for accessory structures, the height of an accessory building or structure shall not extend above the tallest point of the principal structure unless located in the unincorporated area of Warren County on a lot containing a minimum of 1 acre in the Ag, RR, and RE zoning districts. Below that is the variance findings for your reference. Looking over at page 2, the applicants did supply a narrative for justification for the variance. The board should consider if the applicants have adequately addressed the findings required for granting the variance request. And below that is some further information under the staff review summary, or a little additional information on that. And back to the first page, to the points to consider, the board approved a similar variance in 2024 for the property located at 914 Nutwood Street, and the applicants have stated that there are structures of similar height in the vicinity. The board should evaluate the impact of the height of the detached garage on the character of the area and the nearby properties. That's all we have for staff report. Happy to answer any questions.
Do you want to tell us how we got here, or you want to let the applicant tell us that?
Perhaps the applicants can speak
Okay.
to
All
that.
right. Any questions of the staff from the board? Any questions from the staff of the board? Thank you, Amy. The applicant's here. Would you step up, please?
Good evening, how are you guys?
Fine. Can we get your full name and address?
Yeah, my name is Brian Lewis, I live at 600 Magnolia Street.
Do you swear to tell the truth, sir?
I swear to tell
And
the truth.
obviously, we know why you're here, but what happened to,
Yeah, that's a great question. So on 6/23, I filed a building permit that is 202500901. And before that building permit was applied for, I contacted Rachel, asked her specific planning and zoning requirements. She sent those to me. And then on 6/23, I was contacted by Natasha of the office, and she specifically asked what was the height of my existing home, just to make sure it wouldn't exceed the height of my home with the garage, the detached garage. So when framing began on 9/15, I contacted Natasha and Rachel. Rachel first, she I believe was out of town. Natasha responded, and there was a discussion at the point when the outside dormers were framed up, and ultimately it had gone higher than it was projected. I paused framing, and due to the acknowledgement of what was going on, I let them know that there was some variations in height. There was no request for an on-site visit at that time. The height variation was due to reinforcement for span, and also due to the garage floor with a taper down of the carport for water drainage. In the submitted pictures that may have not been shown to you guys, roughly that garage height without the elevation consideration was 21 feet 2 inches. Roughly the height of my home was about 19 foot. Next door, the height is 20 foot 2 inches next door. On 10/29, I was contacted by Rachel Hurt about some anonymous letters that were being passed around by a neighbor, and then I believe someone responded to that complaint. While the support, with the support of my engineer and the discussion with Rachel, it was deemed necessary to file a variance, which I began that process. I believe that was supposed to happen in December. It got rescheduled to today. My surrounding, probably saying too much, but my surrounding neighbors, two have unfortunately passed away during, I think, the time of this variance application. Other neighbors have expressed no concern and actually excitement for the project. So, open to questions.
I go by there a lot. I run up and down Magnolia quite a bit.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know terrains are different levels.
Sure.
But from the street, you can't see that garage above that roof anywhere because when we got this, I'm like, as much as I went by, I didn't know you're building a garage back there. And when I got the notification that we're having this, I'm like, so I went and really looked. And no matter what angle I stood at or drove at, I couldn't see the top of that garage back there. And then on the other side, if you go up the corner of Nutwood and Lehman, where those houses were torn down by the the tornado, they both built detached garages behind them. Mm-hmm. And when they were building those, I'd go by and I'm like, I bet we said them to Board of Adjustments because that roof has got to be higher than that structure sitting there. Just the opposite. The tape measure says they're okay, but if you look at it from Lehman Avenue, it looks like they're, but anyway, that's just my fall back on that. Any questions from the board of the applicant? Question from the applicant? Thank you, sir. Do we have any opposition to this request? Come on up. We need to get your full name and address, please.
My name is Laura Jones. My address is 603 Nutwood Street.
Is what?
603 Nutwood Street. My name is Laura Jones.
If
swear-
you want to raise that mic.
Do you swear to tell the
Oh,
truth?
thanks, sorry.
Did you say 1603 Nutwood?
603.
603.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so you're across the street.
I'm directly behind the applicant.
Oh, Nutwood, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
yeah.
I actually have a few pictures to submit that are viewed from my property, if that's possible.
We've got some of the
That would
street
be
from
awesome.
Nutwood, but you're welcome to give them to us
So I
if you want
have
to.
the before picture from my backyard, and then the after picture from my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have a submission of the original permit drawings.
Okay, I want you to make sure you understand something. All we're talking about is the variance for the height.
Correct.
Nothing to do with the structure. The structure is all in compliance other than the height, am I correct? So if they took off 4 foot of that roof there, that building would be still sitting just like it is.
Yeah,
Nothing would change.
absolutely.
Okay.
Only
All right.
height.
Just only the height, okay.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. If possible, I did prepare a statement. Is that
Go
okay?
ahead. Sure.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Sure.
I own the property at 603 Nutwood Street, located directly behind 600 Magnolia. My current home is actually the house I grew up in, and so maintaining the essential character of the neighborhood is important to me. It's personal, but this issue is not. My comments will only be focused on the zoning ordinance, the staff report, the submitted photos, and the findings required under KRS 100.243. The ordinance does require that the structure remains subordinate. That's not the case that exists here. The pictures and the measurements both show that it's visually and physically taller than the home it's meant to serve. From multiple views, including my own, the garage reads as the dominant structure on the lot. This isn't subtle. It's obvious from multiple angles, perhaps not from the street view, so I do understand that. The applicant points to the garage's footprint as being under 50% of the home's footprint, but the square footage under roof is actually closer to 87%. So I do think that that is a more meaningful measurement when comparing the structure's proportional relationship and overall massing, more so than the footprint would suggest. The applicant also cites nearby structures on Nutwood and Magnolia as having similar roof heights. The cited examples are actually both primary residences. One of them is my home. It's actually the only reason I'm here. I didn't send an anonymous letter, but I did read one, and I was actually the one who talked to Ms. Hurt afterwards. Sorry. But the cited examples, which include my home, are primary structures. They're not two-story garages. Comparing the height of a compliant residence to an accessory structure is not an equivalent comparison and should not support findings for a variance. The staff report also shows that there is no land-based hardship that would require the accessory structure to exceed the height of the home in order to function. And the permit drawings that were originally submitted show a much shorter structure with no second-story windows or a second-story floor plan depicted. When you compare the drawings to what was built, there's a lot of differences that indicate that a compliant structure was both feasible and possibly considered. For this, I do ask that the board also considers the broader implications of approving this variance, just because when there's no land-based hardship that exists, I do think it could risk shifting the variance process into a post-construction remedy, which could weaken the ordinance. For these reasons, I hope that you will deny the ordinance
Okay.
or the variance.
Do you think that that 4-foot height variance affects the character of that neighborhood?
I think that the overall height of the structure makes it appear as if somebody has put a second house in their backyard from my view and neighbors on Nutwood's view.
If they removed that and just had a flat roof up there, how do you think that would look?
I think if it wasn't with all the dormer windows, it would look less like a residence, but I can't speak on anything else. I think that its massing and the windows with the dormers kind of make it look more like a house.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board of this young lady? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Will, any other opposition? We'll let you respond to her concerns if you don't mind.
Brian, your photos were in the packet, and they're on the computer if you need to
Okay. Okay, thank you. Part of the reason we put dormers on there was for the sake of keeping the character of the neighborhood in a way that is attractive and helping homeowners around us with existing property value. There was a complaint that was submitted to neighborhood code enforcement that somebody had reported that we're putting an apartment up there. They came on site. My wife showed him around. He looked at the site. He saw there was no existing framing. It's an open floor space for storage with the intention of being storage. And ultimately went with dormers because honestly, my wife likes dormers. And so we maximized that space in the building permit. It was documented that we were letting them know there would be an upstairs as well. So other than that, I don't have any other questions.
All right.
So
Any-
the dormers weren't in your original plans, or were they there and then the elevation changed?
The elevation did not change due to the dormers.
Okay.
Correct. But the
Okay.
dormers, we added the dormers after
The original
correct.
plan?
Okay. Any other questions of the applicant? Thank you very much, sir. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Motion, please?
I make the motion to approve the request for a variance and waiver docket number 2025-V-23, a variance of 5 feet to allow an existing garage to be taller than the existing primary residence. The testimony presented in this public hearing has shown that the granting of the variance will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations.
It is a proper motion.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Atkinson, second by Mr. Mumford.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Ms. Bowen?
Yes.
Mr. Munford?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Chair Davenport?
Yes, your request has been approved. And thank you all for coming down, and you've got 30 days to appeal this decision, circuit court, if you wish to. Thank you. All right, now we've got to have a discussion on 2025 numbers. Who's going to lead our discussion? Amy's going to do it? Okay.
From there, supplied you all, we'll just go over, we'll just recap 2025 just real quickly, just so you all have an idea of how many applications you heard and whatnot. So there were a total of 67 applications that came before this board. 50 of those were conditional use permits, 10 were variances, and 7 were waivers. And of those 50 conditional use permits, 39 were approved and 11 were denied. So that was 10 short-term rentals that were denied and 1 home occupation for childcare were the denials for that. And then you can see by application type, if you want to see what became before you. So we kind of had a mixed bag. We had, of course, short-term rentals, home occupations, religious institution, agritourism. Well, we did have 1 campground, 1 school, 1 limited meat processing, and retail sales in the RM4 zone were the application types that were heard by CUPs for that. So just wanted to supply those numbers.
Has that
to you.
campground ever got started?
I don't think so. I think they're still going
Still
through the
in appeal?
permitting process and seeking their approval for their septic through the health
They
department and
approved it,
whatnot.
they appealed it to the Court of Appeals. Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, just.
Oh, it's okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, that is in the Court of Appeals?
I'm sorry.
No, the campground?
No, the Court of
Where?
The campground out on Burn River Road.
It is,
Oh, it's not, that's not the same. It
No.
was out Slim
that's
Eversole.
not-
and-
That was
No,
2
the-
years,
the
that's
only
right, that was
thing
2 or 3
yeah.
years ago. I'm sorry. The
Yeah.
one we're talking about is on.
the only thing on
North
appeal
Road.
right
Yeah.
now was a short-term rental on Ben Johns Road.
I'm sorry, it was
Yeah.
2 years ago when we had that.
I know, they all
You
kind
know
of
what
run
I'm
together,
talking
so that's
about?
why, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking,
Ben
okay.
Johns.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No worries, yeah.
Returned
So
it
that's
down
just the
to-
2025 numbers, just for
Yeah.
your all's reference there. And then I believe this body has requested some information on short-term rentals. So if you look at the larger 11 by 17, there. We have compiled some information. So the first short-term rental application was first heard in 2016 there. And so the very top numbers are the applications by year that are short-term rentals. So you can see those numbers by year. Below that, we have the approved and denied short-term applications. So if you want to take just to see percent denied, what's been approved, we do have one note that no short-term rental applications were heard in 2018 for that. So if you're wondering why that year is missing in the chart, that's it.
That was a good year.
I'm sure that is long gone as far as that. And then, so just to recap, 132 total short-term rental applications were approved by the Board of Adjustments since 2016 through the end of 2025.
It's interesting.
But you have no way to know if all 132 are still active? Or is there a renewal?
Sure. So we have initiated our CEP compliance check. So we're going out 10 years back. So I have taken a look at 2016. The one that was approved in 2016 is currently active. And so we're going back through to see if the null and void clause. And so
Yeah.
we'll check PVA to
Yes.
see if some of those. So we're starting that process now. So those numbers could change once we get through some of the years. But 2016 and 2017 we'll start at the beginning of the year. So we'll know if that one is still. So we'll know what has has been sold and are no longer void.
Okay, is there, and I just realized I don't know this answer. Does someone apply, when we approve that they can have a short-term rental, are they applying for a license?
They are. So part of the zoning ordinance regulation is applying for that short-term rental brochure to get the
Okay.
license. And so also in our compliance checks are making sure that they all have obtained their license. So some of those are still outstanding, so we're sending out courtesy letters that, hey, you've been approved, but you need to finish your brochure.
Okay, is it an annual license or one time?
No, it's a one-time.
Okay.
So they don't have to
Because
come back and get it? I'm sorry.
That's what I was going to say. In Lexington, because I'm familiar, it's an annual license.
Gotcha.
So obviously, if people don't pay their license, they're getting, and I do know somebody that got shut down because they just missed it, just didn't get it done. But anyway,
So here, once
yeah.
they get a license, their one license, they don't have to renew it every year?
Correct. We keep it on file in our office to show that they've completed that process.
If you had them renew it every year, we'd know how many actually stay open, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Might be something they might think about.
Maybe there's
Yeah,
some
if you
money
want to.
involved here.
That's,
I guess when we initiated the short-term rental license process, it was more about verifying that they were paying the appropriate taxes, that they met the building codes. And so if they've met all of that once, there would, I guess those other sister agencies have it on file that that's a short-term rental. So if all of a sudden they stopped paying taxes, they've already got it in their system that there's a short-term rental at X property. So we were trying to make it not so burdensome on people to where they had to do something annually. Ben may want to add on to that.
Ben's jumping a bit to say something there.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to add to that. So while we, you've got to think of our office as the approval for the use. An annual license is needed whether they're in the city or the county. So they do get those business licenses through them,
Okay.
as well as anytime a rental is completed through the Airbnb platform anyway, then taxes come directly from Airbnb to the tourism office too. So they have a list also.
So they can
So
tell.
while our office doesn't do a strict annual compliance review of every one of them, we do have a periodic review. But again, ours is more of just that, yes, you can use the property this way under these conditions, and then we review those for those
So it's a
conditions.
business, and again, yeah, it's two different things, I understand. So there's they should be, if they're active, they're going to have, and it's booked through Airbnb and VRBO or any of the major, then they would be carrying a business license.
They're supposed to be, yes.
Yes, okay, right, right,
That's the whole problem, I guess, or the challenge with the short-term rentals is it's a very loose and unstructured process. Airbnb just has some check boxes you check before you can make a listing, and then they say, well, that's your problem if you don't follow those and you get busted.
Yeah.
So they'll
Yeah.
still go ahead and do that, and then each little piece everyone has, it's up to them to monitor and police and whatever. But there's no, Airbnb does not give you a list of the properties, neither does VRBO or any of the others. So it makes it a little more difficult to
Sure.
track and keep up with. So we have to physically go on, intentionally go on all of those website platforms
find.
and try to find them off of pictures and listings and hints, if you will, because there's no address list on the listings either.
Oh, right.
So it's basically almost impossible to figure out. Not impossible, but.
It's not impossible, but out of probably 300 or so we've looked at, we've found all but 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the local
Most
knowledge comes in.
Yeah, I'd say most people, but
I
I was
wouldn't want
thinking.
to do it in Lexington, I'll just tell you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
All righty.
Lexington's whole nother, yeah, okay.
Of the 47 that were denied, roughly, how many were appealed and went, and possibly, do we have any that's been overturned? I think I heard you say one time that,
That wasn't on the short-term rental.
We've never had any short-term rentals overturned.
so that,
4 maybe, 4 appeals. maybe.
4 or 5 appeals.
4 or 5.
2 are still in the court system.
Right.
Two have been.
so it's very rare.
Maybe.
Very rare, yeah, not very many. But like Hoy said, so far, we've been upheld on all of our decisions, so.
And the strength of the decision is the requirement for compatibility is part of the review criteria. And you know, that's all the evidence and all the applications heard so far. The board just simply hasn't been convinced that it's compatible, especially when you look at the existing use as opposed to the zone.
The existing use is a
compatibility
bigger
is-
player than the zoning, because there's so many
Zoning can't
single-family
work.
areas that are zoned R4, you
No.
know.
Right, yeah.
I'm sorry.
And we try to be consistent. I mean, we've really tried to be consistent, which is sometimes hard because it can be a block away and be in a whole different circumstance depending on what's around it.
Go ahead, you
All right.
done? Oh.
Just looking to the bottom of the page, we've broken out a couple categories. So approved application by bed and breakfast and short-term rental, just so you know, there were 18 bed and breakfasts that have been approved and 116 in the true short-term rental category for that. Then we have them broken down by zoning district, just for your reference. We do have a couple of notations here. In the RM3 zone, there was one that was approved by the Planning Commission, and then the OPR that one was also approved by the Planning Commission, just so you have that information for you. So total approved short-term rentals by jurisdiction, so 75 in Bowling in the city limits and 91 in Warren County, with a total of 166. So that does account for multiple units that were approved within a single application. Some have units A and B, so I think that's, you approved 132 applications, but in total 166 have been approved. And then, so looking down at the, kind of our points to consider about workforce housing and whatnot. So we do have percent of available housing stock compared there. And so it's 0.269% of the housing stock of those short-term rentals that have been approved, just to kind of put it in perspective with that. But those are kind of the numbers, what we thought that might jumpstart a discussion and
Good.
whatnot.
Looks like we've been pretty fair about these things.
Amy, in that section that says short-term rental applications by zoning district, are those applications filed or are those the ones that were approved?
Approved.
Approved?
Yeah,
So the vast majority's obviously in agriculture.
yes.
And a lot of those have been in the middle of nowhere, which I can't imagine they're ever going to rent. They have. We really have had some, I mean, in the middle of nowhere.
I've lived here 77 years, and there's places in this county I didn't even know we had. And then you find out somebody wants to rent out a short-term rental, and you're like, how did they even find this place out here, you know? Anyway, okay, anything else y'all want to bring up? Good job, girls. The staff, I mean, the
Thank
board,
you
got
for the
anything you want to talk about?
information. Yeah.
Yeah,
We do have one item of new business,
okay.
and that's just that we would like to introduce Logan, our new
Oh, okay.
planning staff member.
Good.
So this is Logan. You'll be seeing him at future meetings, and this is all of our lovely board. And
Logan, nice to have you with
Logan's
us.
coming from Alabama.
Alabama.
And, we're happy to have him. So,
Good
And
deal.
he is a new planner.
yes,
Did we lose someone?
Matthew.
Yeah.
Yep. So we've been short-staffed for probably since what, September maybe? So
And-
we're glad to have Logan on board.
Good job. Glad you found something. Welcome aboard, Logan. Good luck to you. Yeah. You won't hear from us very much. We probably won't bother you.
I started to say, we'll
That's
try
right.
not to be too hard.
We'll try not to bother you. Any other comments from the board of what they brought us? And we appreciate you doing that for us. Thank you. Ben, you got anything you want to do?
I'll just mention one other thing. So short-term rentals are a hot topic, not just here in Warren County, but across the state and the nation. If you know your state senator or representative, you might want to let them know your feelings on short-term rentals, because there is a huge push by the industry right now to pass a law that would limit local jurisdictions' ability to regulate short-term rentals at all. So in fact, it would just allow them anywhere. And that gained a lot of legs last time and came closer than KLC would like, Kentucky League of Cities would like, and made a city a little bit anxious for a small bit of time. But that is expected to be refiled and resubmitted this legislative session, which just started. So,
So the
No
lobbyists,
regulations?
exactly.
so the lobbyists are spreading that money around, aren't they?
That is the rumor that I cannot confirm or
And,
deny.
and this industry's got a lot of money compared to
Yeah.
what these little
Yeah.
towns
So-
have, yeah.
So that just wanted to
Yeah,
make you.
but no regulation. I
Yeah.
can't imagine, if we've got representatives that would go along, then
Yeah.
they don't need to be in.
Well,
That's for sure.
I don't know, I haven't spoke with any of them personally about that. I just do know that that was one of the #1 concerns on the Kentucky League of Cities list. And I've had several phone calls from planners
And
across
I
the
can say-
state, so.
I can say, having an Airbnb, I got invited to many, many meetings, didn't attend, but obviously it was a push for short-term rental people to get engaged and push for no regulation.
And on the other side, the president is saying corporations can't buy single-family houses anymore. So, you know, that, you got,
It's a lot of people trying to do a lot of seemingly helpful things, but it just has to be, everyone should be careful with solutions that are blanket solutions
right.
that take away
Sure.
home rule.
Yeah.
That's the way I'll state it, so.
well, I'll try to keep an eye open. I know
Yeah.
a few legislators, and I'll sure make a phone call if it looks like it's coming up.
It
Yeah,
might be a good idea.
yeah.
Well, and the percentage, I think, is a good point here. You know, short-term rentals have not eaten up all the real estate.
Right.
I
Right.
think that's
Exactly.
real important.
Try to find that healthy balance is what
Yeah.
we try
Well,
to do.
and then you got places like Fort Myers that all of a sudden realize we have created one hell of a problem here. And they're trying to put a stop to it completely. And they're trying to pull in a
Well,
lot of
it's hard
licenses
to
that
pull
they didn't do.
it back in.
Yeah,
Rein
I mean,
it back in.
We
These
were
places,
fortunate to jump on it early here.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these places that just opened up and approved them, let them go. Now they're like, wait a minute here, what have we done, you know, so. But we've been pretty lucky here so far, so.
Yep.
All righty, anybody have comments from this? Thank you all for your stuff. Old business, anybody got any other old business?
No.
Any new business? I think that's everything on the agenda, isn't it? We covered everything? Yeah. Then we are adjourned. Thank you.